Have you been looking for something loud, funny, candid, and raunchy? Well, you're in luck, baby. This is Drag from the Left. Drag from the Left. A weekly digital series where we discuss RuPaul's Drag Race and socio-political issues from a radical leftist perspective. Black queer feminism. Yeah, we talk about it, but we have fun. One of the most unique podcasts on the internet. This is Drag FTL. And here are your hosts, a drag queen and educator, Juanita Bindum, and a historian and writer with their Masters in American Studies, Avery Ware.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of Drag from the Left. I am your hostess with the mostest, the very Reverend Dr. Juanita Bindum.
Hey y'all, it's Avery here. I don't have a drag name this week. I didn't think of one.
The ball is falling.
Yeah, I literally just now was just like, oh shit, I don't have a drag name.
We gotta, it'd be so many out there. We gotta just keep you a little book.
Yeah, I did have a running list last season, but then I used them all. So,
well, that just means that we've been making a lot of episodes.
Very that.
How are you? You liking your thinking cap?
I am. So, guys, I have one. I had that says thinking cap on it, and it's always a conversation starter. I got it from Urban Outfitters. Nowhere
which is hilarious because you don't even like having conversation like that. Small talk.
I don't like having small talk at all. I don't. It's like nice hat. Like, oh, thank you.
But the hat is cute.
The hat is cute. I like the way it fits my big
dome
egghead. Yeah.
Yeah, Avery has a dome. A dome.
Yes, and I get that was gonna be a very dirty joke.
You know what? I was gonna say you gonna get us demonetized. We ain't making that much damn money yet. Right. Speaking of which, anybody that's listening right now, you know what you can do. Press that follow button, that like button, that share button, comment. I know it's a lot of steps, but the way the algorithm be trying to just like do what it do, I really need you to do all four. I need you to like, I need you to follow, I need you to subscribe, I need you to comment, I need you to share, retweet, whatever on whatever platform you gotta do with all the things, and we would greatly appreciate that.
Yes,
how you been doing since the last time we talked?
I'm good. I had a busy weekend. My today I'm not feeling the best. You know, us and the stomach issues is real out here.
Yeah, we are attached in that way.
Yes, and it's giving me drama today.
Ooh, the eyes that cause confusion.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm making it. I have a lot of work to do. A lot of things coming down the pipeline. So I was like, sick or not, gotta make it work.
Right, so, because we already record on a different day than we normally do. Not that the audience will know, but I guess y'all like to be in on what's going on. But
right,
so we're recording on a different day than we normally do.
Right, and like I was like, so we already rescheduled one time. I'm not canceling today's episode because I think it's going to be very good. There's a lot to kind of unpack this episode. It was a pretty that's the tongue twister. A pretty politically charged episode. Well, kind of.
Was it though?
Kind of, which we'll get to. So let's just get into it.
Alrighty.
Okay, so there is a lot that could have been discussed here, right? Drag Race always does this thing where they have one or two episodes that is political in nature. It's usually a go vote under that very neoliberal umbrella, right? Very surface level political engagement, political participation. Thankfully, it's not an election year because it would have been the vote. Have Nancy Pelosi or AOC on there again or something annoying and weird like that. But this time they charged the queens with writing a verse to a song about something that they stand up for. What is their cause, I guess, because drag, and this is really annoying because Drag Race is not very political, but drag is very political, right? The history of it, drag queens' involvement in pretty much any liberation movement that you get and find, a drag queen queer presence is there, if not at the very forefront. But especially when it comes to queer liberation, drag queens have always been on the very front lines, always speaking up, speaking out about different things. Drag Race has changed the culture of drag a little bit, and it became more commercial, more capitalist in that way. So I decided to keep it light. Thankfully, it's not an election year. We weren't inundated with vote. But next year it's midterm elections next year. If you're not in the know, midterm elections are next November. every House seat, all 435 House seats will be contested, and then 34 of the 100 of the Senate seats will be contested. So apparently it's going to be very important. Right now the Democrats, they pretty much run everything. They have the presidency. They have the presidency. Democrats have the Senate, and Democrats have the House, right?
And yet and still
here we are. We still have no health care. Nothing has been done about police brutality. They actually giving more money to the police. They fucking just signed legislation just the other day giving more money and more resources to Capitol Police based on what happened on January 6th.
So pretty much all the Democratic seats are, everything is up for re-election, but nonetheless, Democrats have all the different spots, all the different positions. And
everything they need everything they need. I couldn't hear myself for a minute. Everything they need to enact some real change, they have it. They're just choosing not to do it. It's a very active choice to stay in the same
burn it down
culture. You have to burn it down. There's no other option, because if you leave it up to our electoral officials, they're not going to do anything about it, as we see.
Yeah, it's quite clear at this point that it is I don't know, it's just not giving what it's supposed to have gave.
It's very clear that there's very little difference between the two political parties, and they very much play for the same team. Like they are going to the same destination. Like the routes they choose are different, but they're going to end up in the same white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal bullshit spot. Right, so it's up to us to do something about it. But instead of getting into all that, because we can talk ad nauseum about that, I want to give you a little more light. So the Queens wrote a verse to a song called "Show Up Queen" about what they show up for. At least that was the assignment that not a lot of them did. They talked about jam primarily, but a lot of them actually didn't follow the rules. So we want to talk about the different kind of things, like what our crusades are, what we show up for. We do a lot of different things, but if you had to narrow it down for the people, what is your Show Up Queen verse about?
Well, to be completely honest, I probably would have made a bad bitch track too, because I am not really here for Drag Race telling me to be like, okay, turn it on, be political, say, do your 30-day affirmation challenge, like it's one of those situations to me that felt very forced, very like we need to check all of these boxes. It felt very kind of like, if you were taking it seriously, it's kind of like really kind of whack and disrespectful to like all the work that people really out here doing to like kind of reduce it down to this funny little verse, and then not to even really set up the queens in a way that they could really do the job successfully.
Yeah,
like it's just a lot of like, oh, okay, guest person, say how you doing? This is your challenge this week, and like the girls are studying the history of the show, so every season the girls know that they go write a track, but rarely does the track have like this like theme where it has to be like, tell me this, tell me that. So I mean, I probably would have went the route of Trinity K. Bonet, where like the beginning is I definitely would have been punny, because that's what's gonna do the thing, and I would have really probably talked about myself like as like in a very like confident, strong, powerful way. That would have been my political statement. Like, I see me as that top girl. Period. And then I would have talked about my lived experiences. I don't think I would have got specifically political. I think I would have just talked about how I exist in the world and how I done flipped the script and made that's why y'all losing, because this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what that's probably what I would have done. I don't see myself going up there and being like, vote. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Like,
I would never do that.
It just doesn't seem quite right. Because when you do that too, if we're a challenge like this that's being judged and critiqued too, it's like, so are you like, is the challenge like how well I succeeded at the verse, or is it the content matter? And then if I didn't do well, but my content matter was right, what does that say about my content matter? Like, it gets really, the lines are really blurred, and I think that's kind of sketch.
Yeah, Robin Thicke realness.
Yeah. What would you would have done?
I don't know. I'm not a songwriting girl. Like, these are my favorite challenges to watch. And it's funny because they merge the two things that I hate about, I mean, the one thing I love about this show and the other thing I hate about it, that kind of like faux political neoliberal bullshit, with the girl group challenges are always my favorite ones. Anytime they get to like lip sync or perform, that's those are my favorite episodes of Drag Race. So when they merged these two kind of themes, I was just like, this is annoying. But, you know, I'm here for the dancing and the cutting up. I probably would have wrote a verse about my body. You know, my research, my work, my grad school work was all about desirability, and it was very personal for me because that's something that affected my life. When I got to grad school, I was actually going to do something completely different. And I was like, I'm not really motivated. I was like, my thesis has to be something personal to me. It's a lot of writing, it's a lot of research, and if I'm not really like attached to what I'm doing, if I'm just doing it so I can get the piece of paper, I'm not going to enjoy myself. And grad school is hard enough. So I made it something that is personal for me. So I probably would have talked about my dysphoria, the issues that I've had with my body, maybe even like dating life, and
I can hear the verse now. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah, something cute like that. So it would still be like light and kind of funny, and I would round it out with like, all that is great, but I'm still a bad bitch or something like that. Like, so it would have been personal. It would have been political, but it also could have been like light and funny. And I think I could have rode the beat very well, even though I didn't really particularly like that beat and melody.
Well, can we get into the beat and the melody for a minute?
Yeah.
So, if you have not heard the song, please go listen to Show Up Queen so you can understand the reference. But to me, it is so interesting. The track, they did this thing where I think they like try to perform black or urban or ghetto.
That was a thing on my list that we could have talked about, but I was like, that's going to infuriate me too much. I can't do it this week.
But I'm just kind of like, you know, Kylie looked cute, but that wig, I just was like,
the wig threw it off for me.
And the whole like the bobbing back and forth and the head nods, it reminded me of season 6. Is it season 7 or 6?
So you gonna talk about that
Bianca
horrible
one?
rap challenge?
We're Bianca, the season Bianca one, so that's 6, right?
Yeah.
The rap challenge on there, yo.
Oh my God, that was so bad. That was one of the worst. That was the worst thing that has ever, including Eureka O'Hara, that was the worst thing that has ever come out the Drag Race franchise, ever. And nobody says anything about it.
Yeah.
Ever. That was the most racist bullshit I have ever fucking seen.
I just don't understand why they have to like perform ghetto, to perform hood, to be, you know, it's just so like, what is it?
Do it more urban.
I don't understand.
And then like at that point in the show, they were not directing the queens to do that. They did that on their own, which makes me.
I'm not 100% sure because some of the.
Well, at least we didn't see it on camera.
Right, we don't see like.
Right.
I wonder if production helped them with the blocking, or if a choreographer was there that we didn't see, because that's a lot for them to put together for the show to count on them to put together to look good on camera without the certain direction, but. I just think they could have did a track that felt just like a little more neutral, or what they can do is like, y'all know which girls are doing which verse. So like y'all can keep it kind of chill. And then if the girl is serving that energy when she laying down the track, you know, then you can add some more like boom, 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 some 808, some different stuff. But I just don't
like put Trinity at the end, put Eureka at the end, cause you know, they're going to turn it. And you know, the lighter verses, how Pandora started out.
Right. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't read. I'm sick of them performing blackness and then it just was so gross to me.
It was very minstrel.
Yeah, and I don't understand. And it's shitty to the black girls because they like, if you go out there and you don't give them what they've already prescribed for you to do, then you about to get the riot act for not being like black enough, which is what's going to happen. Like we were just expecting you to come a little harder.
Case in point. This just happened to Akira in the last episode when they did the Coven skit. Yeah, because she just went home. Well, 2 episodes ago now. She came out and Michelle was like, we need more attitude.
Yeah, more neck, more.
Yeah, and I get like the girl was she had the quick comebacks and, you know, she was supposed to be that girl that got on everybody's nerves because she had a smart mouth. But you can't tell me if Pandora was in the same spot, she would have got the same critiques.
No.
Absolutely not. They're like, make it more funny, make it more witty, right? And it just, so when they specifically do these hip hop music challenges, or this wasn't particularly a hip hop, but the beat was, you know, it was
beat
hip hop esque,
right?
Right. And they automatically jump to the yo shit. That reads to me that either the queens or production or maybe some combination of both. That's what y'all, that caricature of blackness that y'all put on, that's how y'all really view blackness and black people and black culture. Like, if fucking Adore Delano, as much as I enjoyed her in the competition, that episode, she pissed. Like, I want to square up behind that. Like,
she thought she was serving it too.
She thought she was serving it. Like,
and they ate it up.
Like, girl, you are very talented and you're very cute. You're a great drag queen, whatever. And the challenge was what it was. Like, that's what you thought you had to put on for the challenge. It's still fucking racist, but I kind of see, you know, whatever. When they critiqued her and they told her how good she did and how nice she looked on the runway or whatever, and I think it was either Eve or Trina, because they were the guest judges that episode. They were like, you did so good. You sat in the pocket, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, yo, 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 as her response. I was like, you know what? Square up. Square up. Like, see, this is what you think blackness is. You think, oh my goodness, like, and again, I didn't even want to get into this.
Well, we had to, because it's just like, if we're going to talk about it, we got to talk about it. That's what we're here to do. We go drag it from the left. And I just, more than anything, that content matter of the verses, I was just kind of like perturbed with them always wanting to go there. It's like, I'm tired. Haven't you had enough? Nothing new, you know, just same old. So I don't.
Same old shit. Same old fucking shit. That Jasmine Master, fuck Jasmine Master with that video is funny.
Oh God.
Yeah, and you can see, like, you saw them all. Like, of course, Eureka was back there bopping, doing the whole, and there's no camera here, so y'all can't see me. But like,
when the one camera panned to her and zoomed in, and she was doing
doing like the finger and the neck.
I was like,
oh my God, here we go.
I bet you Trinity probably almost popped her tuck when she saw that.
Child, you know, that poked her booty hole wide open.
She talk about, come on, big mama, come and get me. I'm just like, vomit.
Bitch, when you let that woman call you big, well, women in drag, you let her call her big, come help big mama. That just gave me very plantation flashback. Well, not flashbacks, I've never been there, but like,
well, maybe anthropologic, like in your DNA. It's just kind of like, yikes.
You know, they say black people, we still got trauma in our DNA from enslavement and centuries of being discriminated and marginalized and all that. So maybe that was what, maybe in another life, you know, it went back a couple. But like,
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So during the workroom walkthrough, you know, Mama Ru is going around and critiquing everybody's voice and verses and stuff, which I think is really interesting because, as Rose said famously, one of us is a recording artist and one of us is a singer.
Also, a judge of the show should not be coaching you. You should bring in someone else if you're going to be the judge. But that's a whole nother thing.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Bring in a coach. You are the judge of the show. You can't also coach them. It makes no sense.
Oh, especially not on the challenge is going to determine if it's sketch.
It's stupid. It's what it is.
It don't make no sense. You are not smart, but they I just don't question. So Trinity is discussing what she's going to talk about in her verse, and it's very clear that this season, whether it is by Trinity's own volition or the show exploiting it, we're going to have the HIV conversation.
Yes.
Which, preparing for a segue, we're going to have the HIV conversation. So she's talking about this in her verse and her status and go get tested. She's really doing what I would consider the assignment, what they said, and it actually has a bit of a call to action.
Yes.
In it, and like Ru goes, nobody wants to be preached to, and then does this kind of like character grandma preacher voice type of comment. Like, how do you feel about receiving that type of feedback when also asked to do that?
I think it was whack. I think it was absolute whack, but it really falls in line with who RuPaul is, at least is what he's purported himself to be as a person, as an entertainer, as an artist. Just that very surface, you know, go deep but not too deep neoliberal bullshit. Like, it's just void of any politic, anything interesting or meaningful to say. Trinity was the only one that was actually doing the assignment. Like, she was the only bitch that said, I'm gonna take this opportunity, again, whether it's by her own volition or whether somebody told her to do it. Well, again, this had to be her own volition because then she was told not to do it.
Right.
But even when she rewrote her verse, she was still the only one, in my opinion, who followed the assignment. It was maybe like her and Raja. Like, I'm not just saying that because the black queens not like them, but like, I feel like they were the only ones who actually wrote a verse that was about something real.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Ginger tried to talk about like being like a kind of a ugly looking little kid or something.
Oh no, Ginger. And Ginger's verse was actually really smart.
Yeah, it just didn't. That beat and Ginger did not go together.
The beat and the assignment of the song didn't really go together. Yeah, like not at all.
I think again we have several issues here. One, we have the primary issue with the politic of the show that has a show about drag queens, a political based performance art form, and they have kind of sanitized it, bleached it, and squeezed it bone dry of any essence of its historical reference and essence. So there's that. We also have this kind of wackly produced music, which is hilarious because the queens actually, like, when they leave the show, it's kind of like the assignment to put out a piece of music.
Right, which they said to Raja, this week, last week?
Yeah, well, Raja hasn't put out no music.
Yeah, and she was like, that's not what I do.
Right.
Why would I do it? Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
Which I really respected that answer. It's like, I don't make music.
Yeah, so there once again, we have antithesis. But also the show is so oversaturated right now that they've recorded, like, again, this is I think a symptom of it being All-Star 6, Season 13, UK, Australia, Holland, with
back to
back with new seasons coming out, Canada coming out again, UK coming out again, Holland coming out again, international season being recorded, All-Star Superstar season is recording right now as we speak, back to back. Like, it's a poorly produced challenge because they've run out of creative.
Yeah, and I would even change the verbiage there. I would say it's lazily produced. And that's when it comes to a lot of stuff that's like political in nature on that show, especially if it's anywhere near the left. It's just very lazily. Like, here y'all go. Just so y'all don't drag us about it, here it is. Even when we talked about this before, when they changed the music to May the Best Women Win to the May the Best Drag Queen Win.
They re-recorded the track.
It was just so lazy. Like, oh, here y'all go. Just so y'all don't say nothing because I know y'all will.
Right. They didn't even reproduce the whole song and make it poppin'.
No.
Because the song before was poppin'. It just needed to catch up with the times.
Yes.
But it's almost like they did it with an attitude.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was very like, okay, girl.
Here you go.
Let the faggots have it.
Right.
You know? Oh, I don't want the trans people coming for me.
Yeah. Like, it's our fault that we want to be respected and represented. Like, is that too much to ask for? Apparently for RuPaul's Drag Race it is.
It's so funny because, like, more often than not, I just feel like we cling so hard to the status quo that we be sounding almost identical to our oppressors. It's uncanny. You know?
Prime fucking pop culture example. DaBaby with his dumb ass.
Ooh, child, let's get into it.
Don't you sound like every other lily white, antebellum, racist, bird chick colored, white colonizer, piece of shit, racist person?
I don't even reckon. Like, who am I speaking to?
You taking your entire playbook from the plantation,
period,
and brought it here to Twitter for the rest of us.
You ain't got no whiteout, no red pen, no eraser. It's just like straight from
no post-it notes.
Nope.
No annotations on the side. No nothing.
Backspace, copy and paste, anything.
And it's so infuriating because it is so, again, lazy. You have not decided to open a book, watch a YouTube. I tell people all the time, you don't even got to open a book nowadays. Type in what you want to see on YouTube. Someone is there to read the book to you. We got Audible. We got queer people, you and I both, on the internet
free
for
content,
free, giving you free educational shit to enrich your life and make it better. At least enrich your political kind of understandings of different things. You have all these resources available to you. HIV and AIDS, which you don't know the difference between.
Clearly. Also the community at large coming to make their own comments, rather for better or for worse. Don't know either.
Don't know shit. T.I., you stupid. You don't know nothing. Timberland, you dumb. Y'all know like, this is basic 101 shit. I know y'all might not be in the depths of it because y'all cisgender heterosexual black men, as if one black queer people are not in black communities too, if we are not black people.
And this is a group of people who HIV has grabbed up by the collar.
Yes, and that was my second point. Like, it doesn't affect you and your communities as well. Like, and I think, and again, the same fucking Ronald Reagan ass talking points. Like, it's a disease that only kills and affects fags.
Just in case you all are not aware, which I'm certain you are at this point because it's all over the social media and the news and whatnot. But at Rolling Loud, which is, you know, a music festival full of hip hop music and whatnot, DaBaby decided for unprovoked for no reason.
For no reason at all.
To just go on a homophobic, serophobic, just misogynist. It's all the isms.
All the ist and isms.
Were just all throughout there. He seemed to be very concerned about fellatio in parking lots. That seems to be a primary concern. He also believes that his queer fans, none of them have HIV,
and this wasn't even at the show. This is the double down.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
They fans, which is statistically unsound, and also
how would you know?
How would you know that? And I'm not going to even lean in the direction of that this homophobic violence is coming from somebody that is queer. Now we know for a fact, because of the world that we live in, this happens across communities that are oppressed, that there are individuals that will enact violence against themselves and the people like them because of what is going on in the world to try to align once again with this status quo, the internalized homophobia, the internalized anti-blackness, the internalized misogyny. We know this, we see this, right? But more often than not, the perpetuators of this violence are not coming from in-house. And I do not believe, and first of all, I'm not interested. He's not invited.
Boom.
I
don't want a bitch like that in my community.
Yeah, I'm not interested. So I'm not interested in interrogating the details of his interpersonal life to see if maybe he decided to go live. That's your business. But what my business is over here, and my business is offended by the things that you got to say.
Right.
As if I listen to his music anyway, it's not very my vibe. But I do know for a fact, I know a lot of queer people who love people love hip-hop music. People love rap music, right? And at its core, this music had queerness in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Throughout it, even in its existence.
There's no music on the planet without queer people.
So, they not only, did the initial act of harm that didn't make any sense, swapping HIV and AIDS, use them as if they synonyms. They are not, just in case you were wondering.
That was my very first concern. I was like, you clearly don't know the difference between these two different things.
Yeah,
just stupid.
It is not that. I've talked about HIV on the podcast before. I will do a social media post this week just to remind people of the difference, but I'm not going to go through the whole etymology of the word and the disease, all that right now. Yeah. But, so they did the initial act of harm. Then they doubled down. So they came back a second time, but then they tripled.
Yeah.
They went down 3 times.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, which also shows the complex layers, like the onion always seems to come back of what's going on in the community. So people in our community, black people, had things to say to this. It was so nice to see black queer folk, black trans folk, black folk have things to say like, yo, this don't seem right. Like, if even on the basic level of people being like, we came to hear a concert, we didn't want to even hear all that. You could have just rapped another song, right? Has something to say. But after we see white celebrities like Madonna and Elton John come in and have all of this to say,
heavy hitters too.
2 big ones. Now, I think there is some amounts of like, we got this that can be applied. White people step in and want to put in a 2 cents and what's going on or whatever. Now HIV affects everybody at large, so I get what's going on here, and it's nice to see celebrities stand up and whatnot. But it's so weird that the change doesn't seem to start happening until white people start to get uncomfortable with what's going on. If I am pressed to believe that if we didn't have the showing up of the white folk towards what's going on with DaBaby, which also somehow seems to be drenched with anti-blackness, because we can call out the homophobia, you know what I'm saying, and the
it's very much 2 things can be true at once.
Yeah, without being anti-black, which we're seeing a lot of that. That he started to lose work, right? There are repercussions for these actions. I'm a firm believer that there should be repercussions for these actions. Snatch it up, or whatever. So I'm assuming that he done got a PR team finally, because he put out an apology today
and if he did, fire them.
It was the most unuseful apology that I've ever seen in my life. I want you like in it. He's talking about like the internet didn't give him an opportunity or a chance to learn and get educated on these things. So why would you talk about something that you don't know that you're talking about?
First and foremost,
you knew you didn't know what you was talking about. You just running your mouth. Number one, why are you so pressed and concerned with the doings of people that are not in your squad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, mind the business that pays you, and the business that was paying you was the people there to get a rap concert. So there should have been nothing that needed to be said. This is very different. Trinity was asked to rap about. Okay,
right. That was her assignment that she was given.
That was not your assignment. And then we already know in the pop culture canon. Have you not seen Pose on television? Have you not, like, it's all of this mass produced information out about HIV now that you ain't no way you talking about people about to die in 2 to 3 weeks from blowjobbing. First off, you can't get HIV from blowjobbing. It's very highly unlikely to get HIV from blowjobbing. Period. So
blowjobbing.
It's my favorite word. So I'm really pressed to figure out where you got that from. And then the apology talking about thank you to the people who came to me nicely. And I want to point this out because I am so sick of the people that are being the target of harm having to show up in a way that is so passive and so palatable, which minds itself back to the episode where that's what they were asked to do, and they talked about it in Untucked. Like, sometimes you just got to make it more, because Ginger's like, I see what Rue was saying, like, you can't preach, you got to make it more palatable for the audience. Even hearing Jan talk about how they try to need to make themselves more palatable on what you're packing, and I don't think it's about making yourself palatable for the for an audience. I think it's about being true to yourself, and that can look a lot of different ways. Maybe it does look like being a little bit more calm, but it doesn't mean like reducing yourself so that you can be received with open arms by some people that don't, like, for what? And again, this is also a person who clearly don't know what they're talking about, because your community did reach out and try to educate you, and then you shat on them twice. So I think to me, it's looking like your bank account getting low because Boohoo done dropped you. Lollapalooza done dropped you.
Another festival.
You losing your job. So now you want to try to catch up. I think you should sit on your hands for a little bit.
Here's my thing about that non-apology, right? Apologies require accountability. In that statement, I'll call it a statement because it was not an apology. In that statement, there was none. If you want to take some real accountability, drop yourself from some of them festivals. Be like, you know what? I acted an ass the last time I got on stage. So here is my active apology. I like to call that active accountability. Here's what I'm going to do to make sure. I'm going to make sure I say the words too. But here's some actionable steps that I am going to, do so y'all can really see that I'm really sorry, and my behavior is going to change in the future. I'm going to sit on my hands real quick. I'm going to take this L, and I'm not going to perform at whatever random tandem festival.
Right. I'll see y'all next year. I got some work I need to do. That's what you need to have said. And then even still, I could still say fuck you. But what you need to do is that at least acknowledge what you have yet to acknowledge, the thing that you did. There is no action plan to do something different. And where's the restitution? We need checks now. Everybody with HIV should get a check now. Where are the checks? Donate some coin.
Talking about you need education. Bitch, you're a millionaire. You're rich. And you have access to all that shit.
My broke ass gotta ask you. Gotta educate you for free.
And the gag is you don't even need money for this stuff. We send around on this thing for free. There's people way more visible and famous than us that are talking about the very same thing in the very same way that you have access to for free. And you just choosing not to. You putting on your cisgender heterosexual blinders and moving forward. You probably ain't got nobody in your immediate circle who's holding you accountable for this reprehensible shit, which is why you think it's okay, which is why your ass got on Twitter and Instagram twice over the past week to defend the bullshit that you said, and then put out this bullshit statement. People keep saying PR team. Any PR team that wrote that should quit PR. Like, that was a terrible, terrible apology. And I know people struggle with writing apologies because usually when you ain't sorry for something, it's hard to be apologetic, and I don't think that bitch is really sorry for what the fuck he did and what he said, and that's why that apology came off as weird. I think he wrote that himself.
Like, you know what? He might
have to. Like, a PR team would never let you put on no bullshit like that. Not an apology. They would have said, even if they would have edited, they'd probably say delete that whole first paragraph and just keep the second one. And even that wouldn't have been good enough, but it would have been better than trying to shift blame onto people who were offended by what you said. Here is the thing about American politeness culture and all the white supremacist bullshit that's wrapped up in. People commit acts of harm.
Repeatedly.
It could be anybody, but and this is regardless of identity. People, and I'm low-key going to get into this and call out on a very different scale, but people commit acts of harm, and they want the response to it, as you said earlier, to be docile and palatable. But the underlying reason for that is it affects no real change.
Yep.
I think I was on a panel or I was being interviewed for something like that, and I was like, I get critiqued for my anger a lot. With some I'm getting to later. I get critiqued for my anger a lot. I do. I'm rough around the edges. People say I need to make myself palatable. I need to change the way I word things, the way I deliver something, so that people can actually, absorb it. Right? And I'm like, who in history that has ever changed the status of anything? And I don't want to hear about the Rosa Parks and the MLK. So I don't give a fuck about that. And they weren't as nonviolent as people purport them to be.
Yep.
MLK was a pretty violent person in his politic. But that's a whole nother show for another time. When has anyone throughout the history of anywhere been docile and moved the needle? And I'm sure there's probably one or two or whatever. But the major hard hitters, I bet you Marsha P. Johnson wasn't making herself palatable for these white bitches.
Period.
Like, Sylvia Rivera, her homegirl, she got up out Pride a few years after Stonewall, and she said, very angrily grabbed that mic and said, I started this shit. Like, me and my homegirl started this shit. We are scraping y'all faggot asses off the street when y'all need a place to go. When you are sick and this Ronald Reagan government is not going to provide for you, who door you knock on? You come to us. Like, they were literally out there on the streets of New York gathering the girls. They created Pride, and these cisgender, muscle-built white gays, even in the 70s, was out there reclaiming it, like, and erasing trans people from the movement. She grabbed that mic and she said, bitch, what you won't do is erase me and my homegirls and the shit that we have done, the work that we are actually doing on the ground. Right? Like, James Baldwin got on national television cussing white people out every week. They asked him to do it.
Weekly.
Like, and he wasn't using actual curse words, but he was not. Oh, it was
a read, baby.
It was a read. Right. So no, I'm not going to essentially dumb myself down and be more nice. One, I don't know if I could do that if I tried.
And you know what? Maybe I could get to the point of being this little soft, little nice thing. But we could get there after we handle what's primary happening. How about you change the conditions of this world that's
Thank
pissing
you.
me
If
off?
you can stop harming me and my communities, maybe I can change my delivery. But until then, your violence will be met with violence. I'm not one of those when they go high, we go low. When they go low, higher, we go high, bitch. When they go low, I go to hell.
Okay.
And that's something I crack up every time I read that. I go to hell, bitch.
Okay.
But you want to transition to call in, call out, because it's kind of in the same vein.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
We're back to Drag from the Left. If you're lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, or asexual, this is your home. This is your home. Now your hosts, Juanita Bindum and Avery Ware.
And we are back. If you're just tuning in, you are listening to Drag from the Left. I am your hostess with the mostest, the very Reverend Dr. Juanita Bindum.
Hi, y'all. It's Avery.
So let's get into call in, call out. You calling anybody out this week? You calling somebody in this week? What we doing?
Yes, I'm going to do both. I'm going to call in and call out myself.
Ooh.
Because sometimes we got to turn a mirror on ourselves. Some self-reflection, self-awareness is very important. Something I pride myself on. I don't like the girls out here just being completely delusional. So, I try to take inventory of what's going on with Avery most of the time. So if you guys follow my writing, I'm trying to stop saying guys as a general thing. If y'all follow my writing, I wrote a blog post recently, something I haven't done in a while.
No, you haven't.
I stopped blogging a few years ago because I just wanted to get paid for my writing. And my blogging is not, most of it is not like, oh, here's what I'm doing today, or here's some advice. It's like very research heavy stuff. So I was like, I want to start getting paid for this stuff. So I stopped writing for free and for the most part, and I started pitching my stuff to other places and became a freelancer. But I got on my blog post, I got on my blog, and I wrote something has just been irking me for the past couple of weeks. Damn, how deep into my business do I want to go? Okay, so a few weeks ago, I was dating someone for the majority of this
summer. In the year.
Yeah, we met end of January, and we have been dating up until about 2 weeks ago, right? And it ended abruptly, and it ended with an altercation. Not a physical one. I don't believe in domestic violence, but a verbal one. And then, because I date multiple people at a time, I think it's actually healthy, something healthy to do. So then I was dating this other guy who I actually really fucking liked. And his friend is one of those will shade you for no reason gays.
Gotcha.
And you know me.
What did you coming for me for? I didn't even.
I didn't do anything to you. And as much as I just said like, I can't be angry and stuff like that. For the most part, I'm pretty chill.
It's not typically unprovoked.
Yeah.
What I would say from the outside looking in is that, you know, you poke the bear and then Avery will bite you.
Yeah, but
That's
for the most part, I'm chilling. Like, I'm very introverted. I very rarely speak if I'm not spoken to. Like, I be chilling, and I'm a pretty kind person, I think. Like, I'm not a nice person. I don't do niceness, but
neither one of us, but I can concur with the kindness.
Yes, like I'm a kind person. Like, I will not bother you for no reason, right? But he has a friend that likes to do that, and I just think he likes to like get a reaction out of people. I don't know what his motivation is, and it really don't matter. But the point is, I have let this friend slide on a lot of things, right? And I don't really bite my tongue. If you come from me, the retaliation is pretty much immediate, right? But I was like, I like this person. This is his very close friend. They are more like family than friends. So like, this is someone who I do not want to.
So you was go play nice
into it with, right? Especially not in this stage of our courtship, right? Follow me. So we're out. I'm actually out with my friends, and then they show up. This was like last week or 2 weeks ago, I think. And, you know, we're sitting down and we're talking, and this friend has also had things to say that he thinks I don't know about. But he also had things to say about my appearance, right? Because, you know, I'm kind of big burly nigga, but I paint my nails now, I wear hoops, and I'm feminine presenting sometimes. I wear women's clothing, women in air quotes, because clothes are just fucking clothes. But like skirts and women's tops sometimes. Like,
you do the crop tops and the cute little lip gloss.
Yeah, and it's always cute. And it always looks right. But he had a problem with that. I wasn't super masculine or whatever. He thinks I don't know that he made those comments, but I know. I just never said anything about it. So then we get into talking, and he's talking about, he called me, so I'm not going to go into everything, but he called me dishonest. And that is one thing I am not. And he said it because I told the dude that I was dating someone else on our very first date, right? And he said, I don't like how you did that. I was very dishonest and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, how was it dishonest? And he was saying disparaging things about my look, about my character. So it snowballed into, you got me fucked up, and let me tell you why. Right. So now my neck is going, my tone is elevated. I'm just like, and I was like, and this is not the first time that you have been shady to me. Like, you've been disrespectful a few times. Right. So that altercation resulted in me no longer dating this other person. And there's no beef. We just decided that we're better off as friends than romantic partners or whatever. And it's cool. But he did mention that he didn't want us to fall out. As to say that the potential for us to fall out is high based on your willingness to clap back, right? And I was like, you know, I kind of see that, but, you know, again, I also don't come for people unprovoked. There has to be some form of provocation for it to result in that kind of thing, right? So it's just been something that's been sitting on me. Like, my temper and me managing my anger has been a lifelong struggle. Because the things that have been happening recently have been threads in my life, right? This is not anything new. And when I actually sat down and thought about it, I was like, this is like my childhood playing into like my adult life, right? In my childhood, you know, I was much more fat than I am now. I didn't really have a sense of style, and I was feminine. I had a big old ass, and I switched a big ass proportion to my body. Right, when you carrying on that wagon, right? So I was very feminine, and I was dark skinned as hell. So people poke fun at me all the time and just tease me, and I felt like people in my family might say something different, but I felt like no one ever went to bat for me. Right. Like, when it came time to protect Avery, it was like there was no protection, so I always had to protect myself, right? So again, when people poke at me and then come for me, the response is almost kind of an explosive, and it's not like crazy, especially if the thing was lit. I'm not going to be like, oh shit, but like, if you come for me, then I'm going to come back. Like, so for instance, a member of my family, they would start shit with me all the time, and it was usually physical. Like, they would start fights with me, like, And when I get mad, it's all when it comes to like physical violence and you harm me in that way, I'm coming for blood, right? So apparently it was just like, oh, that's Avery. He's crazy. He's going off again. Blah blah blah. No one was concerned about the harm that was done to me. It was all about my response to the harm, right? And that is something that I am contending with recently, right? The situation where I broke up with old dude we been dating all year. Actually liked him. We thought we were on the trajectory to actually be in a relationship. And we were up until that night, but he just did some foul shit. He lied about something, got caught up in his lie. And then when I called him on the lie, he tried to gaslight me. So then I called him on the gaslighting and never took accountability for what they lied about, but only mentioned how I responded to your dishonesty.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you lied to me in my face and we are supposed to be dating. Like, you are saying you respect me. You saying you want to be with me. I was like, you are not showing signs of that. And the lie is not something I can't come back from. We have to acknowledge you lied. But we can work through that and we can continue doing what we're doing. But the problem was he never wanted to acknowledge the lie. He never wanted to acknowledge the dishonesty. He only wanted to turn around on me. Right. Which again makes me more upset. So like now I'm responding to your harm in a way that might not be favorable to you. And again, and then it's easy for people to be like, oh, he's angry. Oh, he's speaking at level 10. Oh, he's cursing. So it's easy for them to victimize themselves in that moment instead of acknowledging what the fuck they did. Right. And this is not a woe is me thing. This is me acknowledging how I respond to contentious situations and what I can do differently moving forward. Because you and Dr. Lady J, we stood outside very briefly last time we recorded, and I was talking about how I need to, switch my approach, not be so quick to cuss someone out or so quick to fight, whatever. Because one, I don't want to. If I say I'm operating under an abolitionist politic, I can't automatically choose violence like that, especially like physical violence. Like, that's not in line with my politic, and it's something I need to fix about myself, right? But like my career's kind of taking off, like stuff is starting to happen for me. So like if I get arrested or I can't show up to a meeting with cuts and bruises on my face, right? I need to be an adult and like change my approach to certain things. And if that means just removing myself and not saying nothing and biting my tongue sometimes, that's what the fuck I have to do, right? So I am not trying, this is not a ploy in self-victimization or anything like that, or trying to evade accountability. This is me holding myself accountable for some things that I know that I could, I know I have the power and the authority to operate differently, right? I just need people not to fuck with me in that way. Because the title of the fucking blog was "Who You Won't Try Is Me," right? Don't try me, and then don't try to make it all about my response to you trying me. Acknowledge what you did, and let's get past it. Because when me and him argued and I fucked up, I apologized immediately. He told me what I needed to do to fix it for him to be comfortable in the situation, and I did it. Right? Because I'm a bitch who's about accountability. Right? Do I get it right all the time? No. I fuck up sometimes. Yes. But that is my politic, and I just don't say the shit. I just don't write about it. I live it. At least I try to. Which is the whole point of this conversation. So I'm going to call in myself with some grace and let myself know that I can be gracious with myself. I'm human. I can make mistakes. But also call myself out and be like, bitch, there's some shit about you need to change, and you ain't getting no younger. So let's get it together.
Speak for yourself. I age in reverse. I'm Benjamin Button. I thank you for being so vulnerable on the podcast. I think this season is compared to season 1 is characteristically vulnerable.
It's getting a lot more personal than I intended to.
Yeah, because I'm like, now do we like incorporate more talking about our daily lives into the show? To. But maybe. Tweet at us and tell us if you like that. But no, I like to thank you for having that conversation. It resonates with me in a lot of ways. I can like feel it in my shoulders and in my stomach, and just like how that's somatic feeling. I understand. Even like your posture and how you're talking about it. It is difficult, and to make these kind of negotiations that you have to make with yourself when you are often the figure, of displeasure in life. And I don't think that's not something that you or I are unfamiliar with. And we're not unique in that, unfortunately.
Right.
And I like to say, and I've said this recently, like, I think my response is rational to what I'm experiencing. You know, it's not just out of nowhere, you know.
Right.
There is cause and effect and rhyme and reason. Like it is there. It is. I'm reacting to the stimulus that is being provided to me. And I think there are many people who don't have to negotiate so hard in how they respond. But we're not provided that luxury. I've been trying to frame it as if sometimes my responses, forget about this other individual, my responses can sometimes inflict more harm on myself, because then I have to endure longer conversation, more conflict, more explaining, more. So I try to respond in a way that also services me on the back end, because it definitely serves for me to gather you.
Oh yes,
serves me real well on the front end.
Oh yes,
and I be trying to tell people, and I think I be scaring Benji when I talk about it, because they be like, "Are you go like? What do you mean go off?" I'm like, look.
Sometimes I don't even know till I do it. So.
But you know, if I was acting the way that I used to have done acting, child, don't get weird. But it's different. You learn to respond to what you got to do to be safe. You know,
exactly.
When you coming up and people think that they have the audacity and the jurisdiction to not just cause verbal but physical harm to you, you learn how to respond swift. You don't have a lot of time to make a decision.
It is instinct. Like, it's protect yourself, right? Like, so, and that's where my mind goes.
You know, and I feel like you and I both, we spend a lot of time living in that trauma mind, that trauma brain, just like defend. Which again, I think is rational and realistic, but I do think the growth that is happening in the world and in our lives are allowing us to be in closer proximity to individuals who are less interested in causing us harm.
yes, very that. I think I'm definitely moving into that space, and it's pretty active decisions. Sometimes I'm staying away from certain people. Sometimes that's being around other people who I know I'm going to be safe around. And I say this all the time. I was like, my safety is very important. Like, and that's why I can't travel with a lot of people. That's why I can't like go everywhere. Sometimes I decide not to go somewhere last minute because my safety is paramount. It's not because I'm a scared bitch. I'm never afraid, but it's like, it's just going to put me in a situation that can cause me harm. Yeah. And if the answer is yes, I know myself well enough to know I should stay home.
Yeah. And you know, we're not also people that exist. Marginalized people are not really always are not frequently extended the grace that the other people in our purview get. So
I talked about that in my post too, because I was like, my identity plays and the way I look plays a major role in this. On two sides,
how people forgive you, how they extend grace, how those second chances, where the mercy, like it.
Yeah, and it's much easier to mistreat people who you don't find desirable. That falls right in line with desirability politics. It's not just about like who gets fucked and who doesn't. It's about a whole heap of things.
Yep. All right. Whew.
Yeah.
How y'all feeling out there? Y'all feeling real good? We're gonna do a very quick episode, little segment Saint and Sinner cue harp sounds. So who is your top saint of the week?
Kylie Sonic Love.
Yeah.
By far. Like,
we got this weekend getaway runway.
Yes, she looks so good. That makeup, that hair, and the garment was beautiful, but that hair and makeup.
Yeah, Kylie for me was my top also.
Yes.
Michelle confused because the bitch don't like green. To quote the lovely Candy Muse.
You did your voice like that?
And you lucky I didn't do what I really wanted to do, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, y'all. Or I'm not gonna do it because y'all be out here playing in Candy face, and I'm just literally trying to be funny, but I'm gonna just leave it alone. Right. But no, Candy Muse, that line does it for me to this day. Michelle confused because the bitch don't like green, but she liked green this week because Kylie was stunning.
She looked amazing.
And that hair drag, baby. That is some drag.
High drag.
Hair. Hard drag.
High
okay.
Drag.
That look really did it for me. I didn't really think that there was a quote unquote lies. To me, the Sinners on the Runway, I did not like either one of the J-Lo inspired looks, Jan's or Ginger Minge's.
Wasn't a fan either, but you know who my bottom is, and not in a good way. Eureka. And not because she's racist and I don't like her. This runway was, I'm so tired of the same ass silhouette. I don't know if it was the material or if it was just too big, but it was crunchy in the back too. And they kept saying, "Oh, conceptually, it's so good." She had to wear a bodysuit and had a beach ball. Like,
she did have a button though where you blow it up, which I thought was cute little detail. I don't know who made it, but
yeah, and the wig was nice. Like, it wasn't all bad, but it was boring.
In my opinion, I've seen Eureka come harder with the looks, and this season throughout the looks are not really on par.
They're boring.
But she's been on Drag Race. I think sometimes when the girls have been like Eureka works, they've been on the show. They prepared for the other two seasons. So they've done Drag Race already low key twice because they made it to like the halfway point on they
made it pretty far
on season 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the grand scheme of things, when you're off the show, the looks being that highly conceptual and thought out matters less for what the job that Eureka does. So I get it. There also are, I am certain that there are barriers to the costume design. I mean, I know that they are working, but I know there are probably barriers to the costume design with all larger queens, more fabric, the fit-ins, the turnaround time, deciding if you go pad or use natural body. Like, it's complicated. But I do think they could have done a little bit more with this look. If anything, like they talked about on Raja and Raven, you talking about maybe if it had an umbrella or a parasol with it or
something. But the same with Raja's look too. Yeah. I think it was just she looked beautiful.
Raja tweeted about her look because she mad people coming for her. The thing is, I think people are allowed to not like your look. I think Raja and other queens would be cool with y'all not liking their looks if it was just y'all didn't like their looks and not you.
And that was
die.
it. Yeah, right. And I did like her look. It was just kind of
If anything,
simple.
if all it needed to have added to it, I did think it was at least on category. That is
she
major.
walked the category.
That she did walk the category, but these looks, even Eureka's, like we could have added a sarong and then came out of it to give me the body, or a cover up. Anything. It needed to have the looks need to be styled more.
Yeah.
Eureka could have did something way more over the top. That beach ball thing could have been like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? She could have came out in a beach ball and then like deflated the air, and that could have been a whole, and then the dress could have been the dress after it deflated. There's so many different things. Or she could have just popped it and like, oops, it could have been a whole thing.
I think Eureka is relying on skating by on her charm and her knowing that production will keep her around for viewing purposes. So she's like, I don't gotta do too much.
She holding it out for the lip sync because she knows she go turn it out.
Yeah. When she did that split during the challenge, even though I don't like her, I was kind of scared for that knee again. I was like, oh my God.
Every time she did, season 10 too, after she got back from that knee surgery, where she would do the hop in it and then scoot.
Yeah.
She don't do the scoot no more. You see that? Because when she got up, she had to get up.
Yeah. Child, it looked like she landed wrong. Like it
probably hurt.
Yeah.
These girls be slamming into these splits to Widow Von Du. With the jumping, sliding backwards split, like she was busted.
It's so good though.
It's so good to see. I need to see it in person. I need to see it in person. I would like to meet Widow Von Du.
I think she's a dope person.
Yeah, I like to meet Widow Von Du. I really like to. Another one of my beautiful queens has been affected by the carceral state. But that will conclude this week's episode of Drag from the Left. I'd like you all to follow us online on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Drag from the Left, DRAGFTL. New episodes come out every week on Wednesday. Be looking out. We have some fun things in store. See you all later.
Bye.
You've been listening to Drag from the Left.
Drag FTL?
Yes, my love, we have fun, but we do discuss socio-political issues from a radical leftist perspective. And the goal of the show is to educate our community about radical black feminist politics in the hope of liberating our hearts and minds. We are artists, activists, and educators. We hope you had fun, and we hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at DragFTL. Till next time.